understanding that we're not educating our former selves. We're educating kids that are going into a different world that are always going to have these AI tools. And let's not forget the current AI tools are the worst they're ever going to be. It's getting better every single day. And so we're not blocking them. The concept is lean into it. How do we leverage these to best support kids to live in their world?
You're listening to the smartsocial.com podcast. I'm your host, Josh Oakes. This is our District Talk segment where we interview district leaders to learn how they're keeping students safe on social media so those students can someday shine online. Now, let's get back to the interview.
Hi, Josh. My name is Nick Polyak. I'm the proud superintendent of Leiden Community High School District 212 in suburban Chicago. We have two large comprehensive high schools with approximately 3,500 students.
It's wonderful to have you on the podcast here today, Superintendent. Our goal is how do we build the most resilient students possible so that when they're in their 20s, they're launched in their career, we have supported them, whether it's with digital tools or a vocabulary about how to navigate the real world. I just admire what you're doing in your school district and the many other district leaders that we have on this podcast. Today's goal is how do we inspire other district leaders with some of the tips and techniques you have in your community? The first big question that I have for you, Superintendent, is what's your biggest accomplishment as a school district over the past 1 to 4 years?
I think one of the things we've been really trying to focus on is sense of belonging within our schools. And so when you have 3,500 students across two buildings, those are really large buildings. And so we created a 4-year looping advisory program that meets 2 days a week. And the students in groups of 20 have the same adult who's with them for their entire 4 years. So when they come in as scared freshmen, they help them find their lockers. And when they're getting ready to leave, they're helping them fill out the FAFSA and make that next step.
Oh, that's really cool. Now, what advice would you have for other school districts to deal with social media issues that may originate on a social media app? I want you to think TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, or any of these apps that students are using. But then those social media issues create a very real problem on campus.
Yeah, social media has such wonderful aspects and it also has such negative aspects. One of the things we've done here is we created a digital citizenship course. It's a semester-long graduation requirement for every student. This is always going to be part of their world. So trying to teach them how to use it well, teach them how to be good consumers of that, to not engage in the negativity, but really harness the positivity and let it be a good portion of their life and not a negative one.
Can you provide some examples of how your students may have used their social media in a positive or productive way that may have benefited themselves or maybe even their community?
I think if you look at our district hashtag, which is Leiden Pride, or you follow the student groups and the accounts they've made, they're pushing out the positive stories of what they're doing. They're putting out videos, they're putting out content celebrating. Kids these days are doing amazing things. And if you follow them there, you're going to see it. We always talk about the recent RAND report that 82% of the entire internet is people consuming video. And so we've been having a large focus on pushing out positive videos, highlighting the great things happening throughout the district.
Yeah, I love that. That's a huge stat, by the way. 82% of the web is people consuming videos, which sounds a lot in line with TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, and everything else. The next question I have for you, Superintendent, is what suggestions might you have for parents to encourage their kids to use tech in a positive way, both in the classroom and at home?
I'm going to talk about this maybe from a parent perspective and a school administrator. I'm a parent of 4 children myself. When we started allowing our kids to have social media, my wife and I created the accounts with them, and we actually made the password be "Mom is watching." And so it was this reminder that we're giving you the freedom to do this, however, with some guardrails. We can log into those accounts and we can see these things. We want you to make good decisions, so we're going to come alongside you. How do we do that in our schools? What tools can we use to give kids freedom, but also give them the guardrails and the boundaries as they're developing into young adults?
Let me go off the beaten path slightly and put you on the spot if you don't mind. Let's put that parent hat on and that superintendent hat and perhaps your previous role in a district or in a school. What would you tell directly to parents? What would you say to some that might have opened up Pandora's box a little early and said, here, kids, you can have a device and you can have TikTok or Snapchat or Instagram a little early. What would that loving, non-shameful advice be to help them have that rich dialogue with kids about why it's important to talk with their parents about safety online?
If I think about growing up as a child, my parents wanted to know what I was watching on TV. They wanted to know what movies I was seeing, what are the ratings of those movies. And so that was always paramount of what information is being put in front of me as I was growing up. As parents now, it's widely changed. And so there's so many different ways that information is coming at kids, but we need to use that same lens. And so helping kids understand that they shouldn't be looking at things on TikTok that I wouldn't allow you to watch in a movie. And how can we have those positive conversations to make sure that they're not being exposed to things that aren't age appropriate or aren't consistent with what we'd like them to be seeing?
Yeah, so well said. I like that. What I really like that you did is you brought it back to nothing has changed. Over the last several decades, we've always been worried like how to let kids be kids a little bit more for a little bit longer so that they are getting things that are positive, good for them, help to build resilient kids that are gradually getting into this world. I love that. What are your suggestions, Superintendent, for other school districts to increase parent engagement? And in addition to that, in line with it, are there any specific channels in your communities or maybe in your community or events that get the biggest turnout?
I think it's a challenge anywhere when you try to get parent engagement. One of our most successful things is we created something called Leiden Parent University. It's an all-day event on a Saturday where parents come in and we have sessions that are specifically for parents to learn things about how to support their kids. We offer it in English, in Spanish, in Ukrainian to best meet the needs of our families. So all the sessions are in 3 different languages. We give away scholarships. So parents are put into a drawing. And it's really one of the best ways for us to bring them together. But on that same idea of language, I think meeting parents where they are, we've been very deliberate about written and digital translations for families. We don't want language to be a barrier for anything. And so from report cards to websites to text and chat with teachers, all of that we have built in translation services to really connect with our families and meet them where they are.
That's incredible. Really, we've done a lot of studies on our end, and we found that the more someone in their native language has the knowledge that they need, especially when it's not English and they might have migrated here, the more wisdom and confidence they get, which they love. And one of my books is in Espanol because of that, because it's so rich and powerful here in Los Angeles area. Okay, we're about to get to the hottest question everybody has, Superintendent. We're going to talk about AI for people all over the country in English, Espanol, and in 12 other languages, including Mandarin. Thank you to the 100+ school districts that have partnered with us to teach parents how to keep their kids safe on social media every single week so they can someday shine online and launch into their future, college, career, internship, everything else. We're so grateful for all the live events, the 450 resources that we've created and that school districts are using to really protect the community. The smartsocial.com team is grateful for you, and shout out to the amazing team. They work so hard around the clock. Superintendent, the biggest question everybody's got right now is how is your school district approaching AI tools like ChatGPT, Google Gemini, and Claude?
I was a former high school math teacher, so I liken it to the abacus gave way to the slide rule, gave way to the calculator, and now there's photo math and there's AI tools that can solve problems. And kids are always going to have those. And so how do we leverage their existence to pair that along with their education? If you're an English teacher, kids used to turn in their older brother's paper who took the same class. And then they could look on Wikipedia and they could Google things. Now there's Grammarly and ChatGPT that can, generative AI. And I think understanding that we're not educating our former selves, we're educating kids that are going into a different world that are always going to have these AI tools. And let's not forget the current AI tools are the worst they're ever going to be. It's getting better every single day. And so we're not blocking them. The concept is lean into it. How do we leverage these to best support kids to live in their world?
Yeah, and I love what you just said. This is the worst they'll ever be. There's this picture that a lot of Instagrammers do, and I think it's in Los Angeles. It says, "I'm the youngest I'll ever be today," or something like that. Because the day that we only get older, but minute by minute. And I love how you said that. Basically, it's going to get better. They're going to get smarter. They're going to be better tools. How do we leverage it? This has been absolutely terrific. Superintendent, thanks for joining us here today.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
It's been great. For the rest of you watching, whether you are a superintendent, a district leader, a principal, a parent, PTA, or a guardian who's helping to support students so that they can be safe on social media. We at Smart Social have an incredible amount of resources in multiple languages. There's no shame. You come to the either our live events or our replays, and we are honored to get the chance to show you what people all over the country are going through, what they're doing, what their tactical tips and strategies are. Keep kids safe, to also manage your family online. We're so grateful for everybody who's watching here today. And as the title of my book says, remember to keep it light, bright, and polite because your kids are watching what you're doing online. Have a great rest of the day. Thanks for listening to our smartsocial.com podcast. I'm your host, Josh Oakes. This was our District Talk segment where we interview school district leaders to learn how they're keeping students safe on social media so those students can someday launch into their future by shining online. This episode was brought to you by our smartsocial.com VIP program. It's called the Very Informed Parent Program, which helps you engage your students with teen-led video lessons. Stay one step ahead with our premium parent newsletter and discover hidden features on trending apps on teens' phones and our 54 plus live parent and student-friendly events every single year. You can click on the link below to chat with one of our team members if you want a free pass to our VIP program to support your community with our smartsocial.com resources. And if you're a district leader who has a success story, we would love to feature you on a future episode. You can click the links below to reach out. Thanks so much for listening, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Have a great day.